Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Shelf to Shop. I'm here today at Salvatore's little garage in home in Strawberry Hill, and he's going to be nice enough to take us around, show us a few of his projects and have a sit down and a chat with us about starting Auto Villa and some of the other businesses he's run doing up Alfa Romeos. So come in and join. Welcome to Classic Alfa. My name's Will and I'll be taking you to meet some of our friends, biggest customers and other noticeable Alfisti. Here at Classic Alfa, we pride ourselves on the quality of our parts and service. We have over 6,500 parts in stock, all ready for next day dispatch. And we'll be following some of our classic Alfa Romeo parts to the workshops in which they're needed, in our new video series, From Shelf to Shop.
I mean, you know,
in this country, always hard.
no, I mean, you know, those ones are Spanish. I just buy those from my cousin, and those ones, you know them, the cime di rapa.
Cime di rapa, yeah.
Cime di rapa.
Yeah, no,
And,
artichokes. I miss them. You know,
Yeah.
This a nice artichoke hearts. You know, when you buy them through, they're too hard. They just.
No.
Oh,
That's a grill.
oh nice.
That's where the meat stays,
Sweet.
but the fire goes up and down.
Yeah, okay. Is this a Piaggio zip under here?
Well, no, that is a Lambro.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a Lambro. But I want to sell it. I don't have the time
to weld it up.
It's no. I mean, I got lots of parts as well, and there's no block. The engine is not blocked, and
Don't show it to me.
I know.
Please.
you know. Look, I got another one there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That one was apparently used
I really want
for.
one.
Yeah.
I really want it. 500 quid now.
At the moment, I keep all this as a storage. There is all the Giulietta spares on this. My GTV.
Oh yeah,
as well,
floor pan,
floors.
yeah.
Look, the front
Some
panel
brakes.
is sitting there.
Oh yeah.
You know.
So you know this is an extra Classic Alfa warehouse right here, basically.
This is another storage. This is an engine storage.
I love the little storage sheds. Oh, he's built a proper shelving there, look.
Look, this Fiat 500 stuff here and gearboxes. And there.
There you go. Come
This is an Alfa. This is an Alfa 2-liter engine down there, and differential. So every corner could find.
Every corner you got engines stashed
yeah.
away.
This is my
Fuel.
fuel.
Is that how you keep warm in the garage?
Yeah. Yeah. I just put. There you are.
Oh wow.
Just see the other bit there.
Whoa. Look at that. Wicked.
So
Wow.
you do squeeze them in, don't you?
Yeah.
This is awesome. Look at this place.
This is a rotisserie for the 101 1600 Spy, the right-hand drive
Wow.
that I'm restoring.
Is this for yourself or is this for a customer?
No, this is a client.
But aren't you supposed to be retired?
I was going to say.
Yeah, I
Supposed to
know.
be retired.
Look at that.
Oh, this is good, isn't it? Having a rotisserie.
This is the best thing.
Have you got?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can I move in? Have you got a spare room upstairs somewhere?
You can sleep here.
Yeah.
I got heat in there.
Perfect.
Yeah, this was funny. This car, good on the other side, only the seal and the middle seal. This side was a bit rotten.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of fabricate all those panels there.
It's a lot of
you
work.
know. And
Did you fabricate this? Or did
yeah,
you buy-
fabricate that.
Wow.
This, that.
So you got the
I got the wheel there.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And these ones also, they were rotten just there. But I thought, making like a good finish, so without touching the seams, I just join it in the middle there.
Yeah.
And jacking points were very bad, because this one is quite a different thickness metal, and so I tried to reproduce them as the same,
Can we sell these sections?
Yes. We sell these, we sell everything.
You sell them?
Yeah,
We sell them.
we
yeah.
sell
We
them.
Really?
sell these, we sell
Yeah,
these, we sell.
Panels wise, we get.
Well, I bought from you. I bought the Valence. I got a floor.
Yeah.
That I stopped for a little while now, but I need to get on. You see the wheel arch I was talking about.
Yeah.
That I need to fabricate that.
I can get these. But
Yeah. No,
I
that
can
is.
get them. But
This is quite easy here. I mean, it's good. I can make a patch there and a patch there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the inner wheel arch that needs.
Look, he's even got a paint booth over here.
Sorry.
You even got your paint booth over here.
Well, no. When I get this
dry it,
when it's
yeah.
on, it dries beautifully.
Wow.
And I've just done that yesterday.
when you chop the whole rear end out,
Yeah.
doesn't it
Well, I bought
worry
this.
you when you put the whole thing in that it's not going to be I know you'd line it up against this.
No,
but
I mean,
you worry
these
that-
ones are original. They're all handmade anyway.
Yeah, I know the whole.
know.
Originally the back end went in one piece.
Well,
but
what's
it just-
what's the trick on them is, if the panels are properly pressed and everything else, the best guide to use, is the boot. Because these ones are still on the original space or place.
Yeah,
So
you line it up against the boot.
you line up that. You see, I bought that from you.
Yeah,
And so I got a proper gap there. This wing is almost ready. You have to put everything called the panels in. For instance, when you change the wheel arches, the wheel arch has to line up with the wing, and the wing is all fitted with PK screws, so it stays all in position, right?
Cool.
And then the most important thing on this is having a proper welding here, because one of the reasons why these cars they rot is because most of the torsion is caused on these joints here.
Okay.
And when the joints they start to wear, like metal fatigue,
Yeah.
you do this, the metal just
Stretches.
breaks, because I want to do a grand tour in Italy with this one.
Wow.
Yeah,
Whereabouts?
I want to go everywhere in Italy, because I don't know Italy myself. I'm Italian, but
Yeah.
I don't know Italy.
do you want to do it together when my car is done? That's what I
Yeah.
want to do.
And so basically, you supply me everything for this car. The brackets there, everything was assembled. This has already been butt joint cutted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I'm modifying the seat belts on this car. I'm putting
Yeah.
the automatic
Cool.
belts
Yeah.
internally, and then
Keep them hidden.
they will come out on the
Oh
ashtray,
wow. And the ashtray.
and then you got the fitting, vertically perfect. So I'm waiting now for having a bit of time to finish off.
Yeah.
So this side is almost there. I've done all the wheel arches.
Yeah.
See that's where they join, and this all been. I use, I quite like to use, the original finish.
Yeah.
Instead of MIG welding them, I just
Spot.
spot weld them.
Wow.
This is the Ape.
That is
This is what is called Ape Calesino.
Okay. What's the Calesino?
Calesino is like what do you call it? A cart. I went to the Isle of Wight with this twice.
Driving it or on a trailer?
Driving, of course.
You drove
yeah.
this to the
Oh,
Isle of
yeah, I
Wight
drive.
from here?
I drive every single car everywhere
That's brilliant. How do you get down to the Isle of Wight? On
on the boat.
Wait, on the
Yeah,
road.
Portsmouth to Fish Pond.
Wow.
And
That is awesome.
yeah.
And it's just one. Only
No,
one,
it's a four-seater. This. There's two
In the back.
passengers in the back and two at the front.
That's amazing.
You
And-
know, when I was 14, a friend of mine had one of these, and I dated my first girlfriend with them.
No way.
Yeah.
So your first date with
I
your
tell you,
first girlfriend.
very cozy
Isn't it
because
nothing?
she was
She's
very
very
nice to me.
Very cool. So when was the last time you took this out? Did you get
This
it out often?
4 years ago.
4 years ago. So
Yeah, 4 or
why-
5 years ago.
No plans to take this out this summer?
I'm
No
not
shows?
sure, There's a bit of an oil leak from the gearbox.
Okay.
And the gearbox, the clutch discs, they are on a wet.
Yeah.
And I got a spare engine there that I bought in Italy.
Blinking, you'll miss it.
Yeah, look, that's a little engine for it.
Wow, that's tiny.
Yeah.
Can I pull this out?
Yeah.
Look at that. Single cylinder. Oh,
Yeah, 150cc.
150cc.
Yeah.
And I bet I can pick it up and it's not even that heavy.
You know? Yeah.
Wow.
This is never run.
Look at that.
Yeah. That's a spare engine for that.
So that.
I bought this from a policeman in Calabria.
So that took you all the way to Isle of Wight.
Yeah.
In
No,
one of
no.
those.
I mean,
But not this one.
That's that engine.
And one of these
That
engines.
has got the original engine, by the
And
way.
that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. It comes with a carburetor as well.
How do you start? Is it key ignition or is it?
No, that starts. I convert this one into an electric starter.
Oh, cool.
So I got a foot starter on
Oh,
this.
cool.
Look,
And you hit that.
you kick that and it starts.
Oh, wow.
But it's not very reliable because there's only a 6-volt battery.
6 volts.
Yeah. Look, that's the engine.
There's
And
your
this-
little electric starter.
That's a starter.
And is this what, choke?
That's a reverse.
Reverse.
Yeah, you got four forward and 4 reverse.
So you just switch that and it
Yeah.
goes into reverse. And you can go, wow, that's amazing. And did you restore this?
Yeah, fully.
Wow.
I still got a rotisserie. I made a rotisserie for this.
You made your own rotisserie for
And
this?
look, it's still here,
Look at
hanging
all
on
the-
the wall. You see that bar there?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I adapted, I got the other legs, next door on the shed, the back of the shed. Yeah,
Oh
there's,
wow. This is such a cool little spot.
Yeah.
So is this, I'm assuming this is a customer's car?
This is a customer friend of mine, yeah.
A friend of yours, okay.
This he had a lot of work and he spent about £15,000 on this.
Wow.
Well, this is the engine I just complete.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so this engine, well, you supply me all the bits for this, and this is brand new everywhere.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I got a tool balance and everything.
Cool.
Nice.
New pistons, nuts and bolts all replated. So this engine, I bought this. This engine would match the Duetto. The Duetto came with a 2-liter engine,
Yeah.
and but it's got all the matching numbers now.
It's nice. This, I like it.
Well,
It's nice colour. This.
yeah, I like.
Amaranth's
But
nice.
my one, you won't believe it. I'm gonna paint it in Prugna.
Prugna's nice.
Yeah, in that.
Not many people like it though.
No, I know.
Yeah, that's typical problem
Yeah.
with this, isn't it?
You reproduce them?
No.
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 Well, it would be a nice piece
It was
to.
yeah. With what you can buy, I know someone that makes
A sleeve.
the piece here, so you have to weld it, TIG weld
Yeah.
it back into it.
Yeah, but it's not.
Threaded.
Yeah.
That's the
Is
only
it
thing.
threaded?
It's threaded, yeah, internally.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can get hold
Yeah.
of. But they will be on the market soon because
Really?
I've chatted with a few
Yeah.
suppliers and are looking into it. You're very lucky that the boot floor is not rusty on this.
Well, no, it was bad. You see this piece there.
You added this, did you?
I made that, and previously when they done the work on this, they pop rivet this boot floor.
Okay.
So I took the screws out. Sorry,
Yeah.
the pop rivets and the plug welded. So it leaves in all the original finish.
Yeah.
And this is on the. I still need to finish this. Look, this is also Classic Alfa.
It goes here, doesn't it?
Yeah. I used to live in France.
Okay, cool.
I was brought up there, by the way.
Okay.
And my first job, I worked for Renault. And Renault at the time they were in partnership with Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
That's why I fell in love with
I
Alfa
see.
Romeo.
Okay. So
My
it's
first-
actually you're an Italian who fell in love with Alfa Romeos in France.
Yeah. Because, at the time when I started to work for Renault,
Yeah.
this garage called Le Grand Garage Milousien. in Mulhouse.
Yeah, yeah.
In on the border between Switzerland, Basel,
Yeah, yeah.
on the corner there in Alsace.
Beautiful part of the world.
And I remember going on the stores to collect the spares for my, for the Reynolds. And I remember stacks of Alfa Giulias,
Wow.
brand new doors for the GTVs, there was the whole collection there, but very slow moving parts because, at the time it was still like, a dent, we get paid to fix it,
Yeah, exactly.
And at the time there was no electronics involved, like, all these new gadgets to pull the dents out, At the time, well, there was a proper panel beating.
Wow.
So I spent.
That's where you started. You started basically panel beating.
Yeah, I'm a panel beater.
Oh, cool.
I'm not a mechanic. I'm not a painter.
You could afford me.
But I like to do them. Like that. I've done it all myself.
That's amazing.
And I enjoy doing it. This as well. This engine as well. If I'm not sure, I ring a friend. Or I got the books.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The best book to restore an engine is not reading a book that someone wrote, because you are using his method.
Yeah. Okay.
But what I do, I restore engines. I always buy myself, a parts book, and I know the sequence where the parts are fitted.
I see.
And also, you have to, in a way, remember when you strip the engine, take photographs and references, and just jot them down. On every job I do, I get like a job card, with the time I spend on it. What I do, the money I make out of this car, it goes into my project.
I see. Okay. So it's just helping you fund your own.
I don't really need money to pay my living.
Yeah.
Just help friends.
66.8. So these regs.
That'd be worth, if that was still in Italy for sale, it'd be worth a fortune, because the black number plates, those number plates,
I've got the documents as well.
if it's the original area where it was registered, it gives them a bump of like 5,000, even 10,000 euros sometimes.
Yeah, and this is the Autobianchi wheel.
Yeah.
That's a little
Roma.
blue Autobianchi, Roma. That is that's ME. That is the Multipla. I sold that to a guy in Australia.
Wow.
The car's gone to Australia.
Wow.
Right and drive.
Blimey.
You haven't got VE though, have you?
Venezia, no. But there's no cars in Venezia.
Yeah, but still province.
I know, but there's very few.
You get them on the boats.
People don't have.
There was a Giulia in Bologna. I don't know if you saw it. When you go to the Bologna show, there was a Giulia there with a VE number plate. I wanted to buy the car just for the number plate.
Really? Oh. I got a friend who used to work for Fiat for 40 odd years.
Wow.
He started at Radbone Racing.
Yeah, no.
You remember Radbone?
Yeah.
I know very well.
And he's got an engine. He's got his engine of this 500 Arbach that he inherited.
That's that original rusty Fiat 500.
That is the door is not rusty.
But the shell.
But the shell was totally rotten apparently.
Wow.
And when he scrapped the car, he kept that door, only one door. And that is still got the Arbach decal.
Oh wow!
on
On the outside.
So I'm not gonna sell.
No,
that.
no. Need to turn that around and hang it up somewhere.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's cool.
This is BMW F1 rear wheel.
Really?
Yeah.
What year?
This is 80. When they stop racing, you see they still got the Bridgestone tires. Over 20 years ago, I think.
Wow.
And this was an Italian guy transporting the tires, back to Italy.
Oh, really?
They had, the big.
That's
tire.
unused, isn't it? So.
Well, this is how they used to use this. And they had a problem with his gearbox. There was a gear lever, like a cable, I think it was. Anyhow, I said, what are you doing here? I said, oh, I'm transporting tires for...
Can I have one?
Can I have one? He says, if you fix my van, it'll be yours.
Oh, wow. There you go.
This is all the special Alfa tools.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
There's the red wall.
Yeah.
And these were given to me. I mean it, given by a friend of mine. He used to work at the Alfa concessionaires at Staples Corner. You didn't know there was Alfa there. Alfa GB was in Staples Corner.
Oh, okay.
And his name is Pong.
Yeah.
And when he left to Thailand, he gave it to me. Hello, Elio. Come. No, he doesn't want to come.
Oh, shy.
I introduce you to him later.
Okay.
He's a nice little lad.
Oh.
He keeps watching all my little models there, but he's not allowed to touch them. So he doesn't touch them.
Fair enough.
He's very good.
Good.
My story was funny because I always like Alfas.
Yeah, okay.
And they were already then very exotic. So I used to drive I was given a Fiat 500L,
Cool.
D, with the suicide doors.
Yeah, yeah, wicked.
And there was no floors, and with my 2 years older brother, we managed to fix the car. We went everywhere with that, fun. And then, we bought, a Fiat 125, a 4-door saloon, and that was a 1600.
Wow.
It was a big car.
Yeah.
So my elder brother was already had his license, but I was 18 months younger than him. And but I was also able to drive because I've experienced the driving in the Renault car park, driving brand new Renault 4s, Renault 10s, Renault 8s. I didn't dare driving cars like the Renault 16s.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they had, the column shift,
Yeah, yeah.
gear shift. And but anyhow, I learned how to drive there, and then someone part exchange a 1750 in Bianco Spino at Renault, and he was on the showroom there, and I love it.
Yeah.
He came to our workshop to do a few bits and bobs, and then I sold the Fiat 125 with my brother, and I bought the Duetto, but I paid for the car. But at the time I was working on a bonus and I didn't get enough money on my bonus. I didn't have the money to pay for the insurance. So I had to wait another month. And I was really hoping that I would make enough bonus money for it. And anyhow, I managed to do all that. Oh, I was just turning 18. And my first car was a Duetto 1750. And still in my heart, that car.
Wow. So what age did you move from France over to the UK then? Were you in France for?
Well, because, while I was living in Paris, I met my wife. And she was studying in UK. Her father was based here, he was a diplomat. And the girls daughters were still at university, that is how I start life.
Wow! So it was a girl that brought you over to the UK.
Yeah, it was. Well, my original idea to come to England was while I live in Paris. There was one of our clients. He had a Dino 246. He had a little crash. And while I was fixing the car, he had a visitor, cousin of his from San Francisco,
Yeah.
an Italian American
Okay, cool.
garage owner, a guy called Francesco, and he offered me a job.
In America?
Yeah.
Wow.
He says, learn a few lines of your English,
Yeah, yeah.
and I couldn't believe it. I thought,
going to
it's a lottery one.
Yeah, yeah.
In the evening, I couldn't wait to tell my friend. So we met two girls.
Yeah.
They live in England. Let's go to England and learn English.
Yeah.
And then we go to America. He said, yeah.
Sounds like a
Shook
good
my
plan.
hand, give me a hug. He says, done. And off we went.
Wow.
Soon after.
And you didn't know any English at this point?
No, at all.
Wow.
It took me almost half day, from Dover
Yeah.
to London. I didn't know anything about the London roads or English roads.
Couldn't
Driving
read
on the other
signs.
side.
Yeah, the maps.
And yes, I did. I did have a road map of England, and they took us to London. And my navigator Massimo was with me. We saw direction London, so that's the road we took.
yeah.
And they took us, behind Croydon.
Yeah.
And all
wow.
that. And then, we got to Elephant and Castle. And then, every 10 minutes, we stop. I had, an Auto Bianchi 112 Arbach. I part exchanged that Auto Bianchi with an Alfa 2-liter GTV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and maroon color.
Oh, lovely.
Left
Similar
and
to
right.
the colour.
Same as that,
Wow.
but 2-liter.
Okay.
Oh, gosh, I was... but then...
And how old
when
are you at this point? Are you 19, 20?
I was
bit old.
almost 20.
Almost 20.
And but because I love those cars, and I really like them. The end of that car was a Dutch guy in King's Road.
Yeah.
He wasn't allowed to do a right turn,
Yeah.
and I was confident with myself on the GTV. I just moved, from like 200 meters behind, and at the traffic light, we had a collision.
Oh.
And at the time, in 1979-80, the Dutch insurance paid me £875, and the car was written off. I had no money.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law just contacted me that my wife was expecting a baby, and my girlfriend then moved to Indonesia, because my wife, she's Indonesian.
Oh, wow.
And she finished her studies,
Yeah.
and so she had to go back. With the money I got from the insurance, I pay for my first ticket with a Russian company called Aeroflot.
Yeah.
And I went to Indonesia. I was married on the 3rd of March, 1980, and I lived there for 5 months. I mean, I couldn't find a job there, so I came back. My brother in Italy, needed, a bit of help, to build his business, and he offered me a partnership with him. So he was a painter, I was a panel beater.
Yeah.
So it was a good combination, the two brothers doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
And for me, it was a good start because I had a child, because my wife was pregnant, and my child was born on the 19th of March.
Oh, wow. And you
So he came with us to the wedding.
Wow. In her, yeah.
And
Amazing.
anyhow.
And then is that, so that business you started, was that Auto Villa or was that before?
Oh no, it was, all this was all before.
Oh, wow.
Then, I started the business with my brother in Italy, in Sardinia.
Yeah.
But, I had, different mentality, and I wasn't used to work in Italy.
Yeah.
So the Italian mentality in a way is slightly different than my one. That I was, don't forget, I was brought up in France. I had, a different feel of working.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
When I do a job, they pay me. In Italy, domani. you know, and I had a family to starve, you know, I had a wife, I had a son. So I rang my previous boss in London, and he gave me the job.
Oh, wow.
And he says, yes, you know, and another friend of mine I was in touch with, you know, he found me an apartment in Hackney.
Oh, cool.
So I got here on Thursday. On Monday I was working.
Wow.
And my wages then, they were £120 a week, you know, in 1981, 82.
Wow.
Another chap, you know, a painter working for the same firm, with the same name. We joined forces, you know. We just say, oh, let's find a business for ourselves.
Yeah.
We go out first, we bought our garage in Stamford Brook.
Okay, yeah.
In 1983. That was Auto Villa.
Okay, and that's where it all started.
Also, the name was something that, you know, everybody was asking, because at the time, you know, it was very fashionable to call your company like your initials. Like for instance, you know, the initials of my name is S, Salvatore. My partner is also called S.
Okay.
But everybody used to call it S&S Motors,
It's a little
you
bit,
know, or, you know, like the initials.
Yeah, yeah.
But we find we need a little bit more of an exotic name.
Yeah, yeah.
The town where I first started the business with my brother is called Villa Simius in Sardinia. And I always like, you know, the Villa Simius. But then, you know, we live in England, and we thought, you know, we work in cars. So I want to give, you know, instead of calling a car, I call it automobile, automobile, you know, and I use, you know, the first auto and then villa, villa. So that's how I formed the name.
Yeah. It works like that. That is like Auto Villa is like car house.
Closing down the Auto Villa business was, in a way, a blessing, because it gave me the opportunity to carry on with my hobby.
Yeah, yeah.
And we call now Auto Villa Classics, but only doing for fun.
Yeah.
You know, I really enjoy doing it.
You do what you want to do rather than what
you know. Look, I got time to
not a
deal
business.
with you.
Exactly.
You know,
it's not as much of a business anymore. It's a passion project.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, on the old days, I had, you know, very little time to go and collect the parts. You know. Now I jump in the car and I go and visit you.
Exactly.
Collect the parts and then have a good laugh with you guys. And, you know, this is how I spend my day, you know. And then I get a part now because I'm also a very impatient person. You know, if I'm doing something, I need to get the whole thing wrapped up now. You know, I don't like to leave things, you know, behind, and then, you know, because you leave the momentum, and then it's very hard.
You forget where you are.
Well, no, I know where I live, you know, but, you know, it's, you lose the motivation, you know, and, but that's how it is, you know.
Panel beating as much anymore, right? You.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, that is my main thing. But I got to have, you know,
building engines.
Oh yeah, I got to have all my time. If I get interrupted of something, I have, you know, I prepare everything while I'm doing the bodywork. I'm also sourcing the spares for the engine, all the mechanical bits. I get them sorted. Once they are done, that's it. They get wrapped up. So that is the story with Auto Villa. We had, you know, 12 guys working.
That's
for
the start
us.
and the end. So how did you grow the business? I'm quite intrigued in the first sort of like 5 years.
Well, you know, the first garage we had, you know, was in Stamford Brook, arch number 143.
Cool.
And after 3 years, our lease, was for 3 years at the time, renewable. But we grew up so quick that I had a contract, with a Ford company, a Ford garage in Brompton Road. What is now the Ferrari showroom in Brompton Road.
Okay, yeah.
At the back, there was a company called Brew Brothers.
Okay.
And they were Ford dealers. And I used to do all-day bodywork there.
Wow.
And so we were, well busy with that. And at the time, obviously, there was no restrictions, with parking.
Okay, yeah.
You could
So
have,
you just had all the cars outside.
oh, you could have 20 cars parked. Who wakes up first, parks the car. And obviously, we didn't want to keep, many cars on the street because
They can get
if
damaged.
they are damaged, they start to be vandalized. And because, we were very proud of our work as well. And, if you have, if you get in dealers' work or the insurance work, you got to impress them.
Yeah.
And they're doing 100% satisfaction every time.
Wow.
And I don't remember times, I count on my fingers that a customer complained.
Wow.
We always did our very best to give, the customer 100% of us and giving them the little opportunity to complain. We had, we did the extra mile for them.
Yeah.
Even collect, deliver.
Yeah.
We had, valeting bays as well. Everything was in-house. We moved, around the corner from us at one of my clients' premises. And I asked him if his place would be for rent. And he says, yes, but he hasn't got a license to use as a body shop.
Yeah.
He says, give me a chance and I'll find out with my executors. And so they did all that. The premises were good, to convert and apply for the use license. And from a warehouse, it turned into a body shop.
Wow.
So that place was one of the few legally registered body shops.
Wow.
In Hammersmith.
So when did you start doing work for Alfa Romeo UK?
Oh, that was in Salter Street.
Okay.
In Salter Street, we I was doing work already for Ramponi and for Lombarda.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine that I still look after his car now. And because my partner, don't forget, he used to work at Fiat.
Yeah.
In Brentford. Do you remember the Trico factory?
Yeah.
Well, opposite, there was Fiat.
Wow, okay.
And there was BMW Park Lane as well.
This is all down Great West Road.
Great West Road, yeah.
Okay.
And Chris used to work for Fiat originally. He was then working for the press office at Alfa.
Okay.
So all the press office cars, they were there, and but most of them, they were out.
See, doing press.
So
when a journalist smashed one up, they'd bring it to you.
Before the cars get launched.
Oh wow!
I used to do all those cars beforehand. Wow. I did start from the 916.
Yeah.
I did all those. I did all the Fiat 500, Cinquecento.
Yeah.
The little boxy one.
What about the Seicento? Did you do those?
Seicento.
That's my first car. I had a Seicento Arbach.
Yes. Yeah. My wife had, two of those.
I love that car.
So I started to work. I was approached by Chris.
Yeah.
And so we are all friends, still with everybody.
Wow.
And there is, do you know a company called Autoficina?
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they are in
Autoficina.
Chessington.
Yeah, yeah. I
They're
think I've driven past them.
Specialize in Maserati, Ferraris, Lamborghinis.
Yeah, I know.
You know, Peter.
I know him. I
Peter
don't
Ward's
know.
a good friend of mine.
Oh, is he? I've driven past there a few times.
Yeah. You know, where that place used to be the ex Brabham factory.
Yeah.
The Brabham 441.
Yeah.
So Peter Ward.
Wow.
And he lives in Isleworth.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, way.
So Chris approached us to do some body work on these Alfas. And he says, you know, you can take your time. And I tell you what, it was such a good job, you know. We used to fix, all the little stone chips.
Yeah, okay.
And Chris was running the maintenance workshop.
I see.
And there's about 8 guys there, 8 mechanics. Do you know the guys, when they build a new car, there was a problem.
Okay.
You know, the journalists, they just found there was, a little thing that not fitting properly.
Yeah.
They take the car to us,
Okay.
and some engineers from Italy, they came and they said, what can we do to modify that?
Yeah.
Because the cars were just assembled back together.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if the rubber was falling apart. So we said, well, this has to be done this way, and maybe this bit of rubber that works more than the rest, it should be a bit harder, or maybe on that corner should have like a clip or something.
Yeah.
And they did listen to us, and
So you were developing some of the late 90s, early noughties Alfa Romeos.
yeah, I mean, I was there on the late Alfetas.
Oh, wow.
All the 75 range
Yeah.
I've done.
Wow.
I've done the Monster as well, the SZ.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, all the way down to 2016.
Oh, wow. Sorry, thank you so much again for having us at your home today.
Pleasure.
It's been absolutely brilliant to come and check out your garage and all the little projects you got going on at the moment. As is tradition, we've got a few little goodies for you in a little Classic Alfa goodie bag. So you've got
thank you.
T-shirt, mug, pen, stickers,
fantastic.
that kind of thing. So I'll leave that here for you.
Okay, thank you.
And
Have you got the right size, by the way?
extra small.
Oh, extra small?
Yeah, no.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Well, if you want me to swap it back, I can go and swap it
thank
back.
you. Very kind of
right.
you. Yeah, I should be looking at later.
Nice. Well, it's been lovely.
My Classic Alfa
There you go. You got
favorite dealer.
exactly,
and,
our favorite customer.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, guys, for coming along with this video. Thank you very much for Salvatore for showing us around his lovely little garage out here and having us into your home as well.
Yeah.
Lovely espresso you made too for me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, pleasure.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.